Daniel Brooks tapped the steering wheel nervously as the traffic light glowed red. Beside him, his fiancée, Clara, scrolled through wedding dress photos on her phone. Her face lit with excitement. "Look at this one," she said. "Isn't it beautiful?" Daniel glanced briefly, forcing a smile. "Yeah, it's perfect." But his thoughts were far away. They always were these days, wandering back to memories he had tried to bury. It had been 2 years since his divorce from Emily. 2 years since the day he signed the papers, convinced it was the right decision. Their marriage had been strained by financial problems, long work hours, and constant misunderstandings. When Emily told him she was pregnant, instead of joy, he had felt fear. "How can we afford a baby?" He had asked. Emily had only looked at him with hurt eyes. "We'll find a way. We always do." But Daniel hadn't believed it. Pressured by debts and his own insecurity, he convinced himself that leaving was better than staying in a life he felt trapped in. When he walked out, he didn't even know she was carrying his child. Or children. The light turned green, and Daniel pressed the accelerator. As they drove through the busy intersection, something caught his eye. A woman was crossing the street, holding the hands of 3 small children. Triplets. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. The woman's face was familiar, soft features, tired eyes, and the same gentle expression he once knew by heart. "Emily," he whispered. He slammed the brakes. Clara looked up, startled. "Daniel, what are you doing?" But Daniel wasn't listening. Through the windshield, he saw the 3 toddlers clinging to Emily's coat. One boy carried a small toy car. The other 2, twin girls, were laughing as they skipped over the crosswalk lines. His heart pounded violently. They looked like him. The boy had his dark hair. One of the girls had the same dimple in her cheek. The other had Emily's eyes. Those are my kids," he murmured, almost to himself. Clara frowned. "What are you talking about?" Daniel didn't answer. He pulled the car to the side of the road, ignoring the angry honks behind him. He stepped out, his legs trembling, and hurried toward the sidewalk. "Emily," he called. She froze. Slowly, she turned around. For a moment, her eyes widened in shock. Then her expression softened into something unreadable. "Daniel," she said quietly. The children looked up at him curiously. The boy tugged her sleeve. "Mama, who's that?" Emily swallowed. "Someone I used to know." Daniel felt like the air had been punched out of his lungs. "Used to know," he echoed. Her gaze dropped to the children. "We should keep moving." But Daniel stepped closer. "Are they mine?" The question hung in the air like a storm cloud. Emily hesitated. Then, with quiet honesty, she nodded. "Yes." Daniel's world tilted. 3 children. His children. And he had never even known. The winter air felt sharper than usual, biting against Daniel's skin. He stared at the 3 small faces before him, his heart racing. How is this possible?" he asked. Emily gave a soft, tired smile. "Life has a strange way of surprising us." Clara approached from behind, her heels clicking against the pavement. "Daniel, what's going on?" He didn't turn around. "They're my children." Clara's expression hardened. "What?" Emily straightened her posture, holding the children a little closer. "I didn't tell him," she said calmly. "He left before I found out it was triplets." Daniel felt guilt surge through him like a wave. "You could have told me." Emily's eyes flashed with quiet pain. "You walked away because one child scared you. What would you have done if I told you there were 3? He had no answer. The boy stepped forward, his big eyes curious. "Mama, is he our daddy?" Emily hesitated. Her lips trembled, but she nodded. "Yes, sweetheart. He is." The boy's face lit up with excitement. "I have a daddy." Daniel's chest tightened painfully. The little girls looked at him, one hiding behind Emily's coat, the other waving shyly. "Hi," she said softly. Daniel crouched down, his voice shaking. "Hi there." Clara crossed her arms. "Daniel, we need to go." But he couldn't move. For the first time in years, something inside him felt real. "What are their names?" he asked. Emily's expression softened. Noah. And the girls are Lily and Rose. Daniel repeated the names quietly, as if they were sacred. Noah, Lily, Rose. He looked at Emily. Are you okay? I mean, raising 3 kids alone. She smiled gently. It hasn't been easy, but they're my whole world. He noticed the worn sleeves of her coat, the patched knees of Noah's pants, the old stroller by the curb. Guilt gnawed at him. Clara grabbed his arm. Daniel, this is ridiculous. We are getting married in 2 months. You can't just stand here and... He gently pulled his arm away. I need a moment, he said. Clara's face flushed with anger. Fine. Take your moment. She stormed back to the car. Daniel turned back to Emily. Can I see them again sometime? Emily hesitated. The children were watching her, waiting. Finally, she nodded. Maybe. For their sake. Daniel felt hope flicker inside his chest. For the first time in years, he felt like he had something worth fighting for. Daniel couldn't sleep that night. The image of 3 small faces haunted him. Noah's hopeful eyes. Lily's shy smile. Rose's curious wave. His children. While he had been building a new life, they had been growing up without him. The next morning, he cancelled his work meetings and drove to the small apartment Emily had mentioned. It was in an old building on the edge of town. When she opened the door, surprise crossed her face. Daniel. He held up a bag of groceries and 3 small stuffed animals. I thought, maybe the kids would like these. Emily hesitated, then stepped aside. Come in. The apartment was tiny but clean. Crayon drawings covered the walls. A small table held 3 mismatched cups of milk. Noah ran toward him. Daddy. The words struck Daniel's heart like lightning. He knelt down, tears filling his eyes. Hi, buddy. Lily and Rose peeked from behind the couch, clutching their new toys. Do you want to see my drawing? Noah asked eagerly. Daniel nodded. Of course. As Noah showed him a picture of a house with 5 stick figures, Daniel's heart broke. Who's this? He asked, pointing to the tallest figure. That's you, Noah said proudly. Mama says you're very tall. Daniel looked at Emily. She gave a small, sad smile. He realized something then. Despite everything, she had never spoken badly about him to the children. And that made his guilt even heavier. Over the next few weeks, Daniel visited often. He read bedtime stories, fixed the broken sink, and cooked simple meals. The children began to laugh more. Emily began to smile again. But Clara wasn't happy. You're choosing them over me, she accused one evening. Daniel sighed. They're my children. You didn't even know they existed. But they do, he said quietly. And I can't ignore that. Clara shook her head. If you walk away from this wedding, don't come back. Daniel didn't answer. That night, he watched Noah sleep on the couch, with Lily and Rose curled beside him. For the first time, he felt peace. He knew what he had to do. A month later, Daniel stood outside Emily's apartment with a small bouquet of wildflowers. When she opened the door, surprise filled her eyes. Daniel. He took a deep breath. I ended the engagement. Emily's eyes widened. You didn't have to do that. I did, he said softly, because I finally understand what matters. The children ran toward him. Daddy. They cheered. Daniel lifted them into his arms, laughing through tears. He looked at Emily. I know I hurt you. I know I don't deserve another chance, but I want to be here. For them. For you. If you'll let me. Emily's eyes filled with tears. We'll take it one day at a time, she whispered. Daniel nodded. One day at a time. As the sun set outside the window, the small apartment felt warmer than any mansion, because for the first time, they were finally together. And sometimes, love doesn't come back in grand gestures. Sometimes, it returns quietly, holding the hands of 3 small children in a crosswalk.